Hey everybody, it's Nathan Crane. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm super excited to have two guests with us here today to talk about one of my favorite products, Haelan 951. You've heard me talk a lot about it, share a lot of science about it. In fact, it's really a food, and it's a food that is incredible for enhancing the immune system and has shown some incredible anti-cancer properties as well. So you've probably seen, or maybe, or if you haven't, you should definitely go watch the interviews I have done with Jim Ladwig, who is heavily involved with the company. And today I'm excited. We actually have Dr. Devin Stone here with us, who is using this product, who has been researching the science behind it, who is a naturopathic doctor working oncologically with cancer patients in San Diego. And I want to ask him, what are his thoughts about it, about the science, about the misconceptions about soy, about fermented soy? Is soy actually something we should avoid, as you hear, some so-called health gurus saying online now, or is it truly a superfood? And so without further ado, Jim, Dr. Devin Stone, thank you guys for joining me here to talk about this.
Thanks, Nathan.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Jim, so just one minute. Why don't you introduce yourself and your involvement in the company? We went in depth in the previous interviews we've done, so I want people to go watch that. But just let people know a little bit about your background.
Yeah, I'm Jim Ladwig. I'm a director over here at Haelan Products, and I've been involved with the company for a number of years now. I've been involved with the product even longer. If you go back and watch that other interview I've done with Nathan, you'll hear my story. I was actually diagnosed with colon cancer and got on the product, had a great recovery, been sold on the stuff ever since, had a very fantastic experience with it. And then a few years later, I was got involved with the company itself. And so I'm here now doing working on educating people. I handle a lot of the marketing and take care of a lot of different things over here. We wear a lot of hats. If you recall the company, you'll know that we wear a lot of hats around here. And so, yeah, happy to be here. And go back and watch that other video. You'll hear a lot more about my story with cancer and kind of how that played out and how I ended up at the company.
Yeah, it's really inspiring, by the way, and where you're at now. So that's why I keep referencing it. People should go watch that because they'll get to know you and your story more and be inspired by your battle with cancer. So thanks for that. And Dr. Devin Stone, thank you. This is the first time we've met. I did a little background on you beforehand, and Jim has spoken super highly of you. And I think the work you're doing in naturopathic medicine, especially for cancer patients, is essential. We need a lot more of that. And so thank you for that and the great work you're doing. And yeah, please just introduce a little bit about yourself and your background.
Of course. Yeah, thank you. Well, I'm a licensed naturopathic doctor here in San Diego, mostly working in the primary care space, working with all types of patients across the board, because a lot of the work we do is truly getting at root cause of healing. So most people can use our type of services if it's either prevention or helping with disease management. But with that said, kind of through my training, through my medical program, I helped develop with our head doctor, our oncology program. And that was something that I didn't realize I was going to get heavily into, but found it's just such a beautiful space for this type of medicine to be integrated properly into care for if someone is going through conventional therapies or looking for standalone alternatives. There's a lot that can be done with just supporting the body on a natural aspect. So it's something I'm using heavily now, and then met the Haelan group just kind of during this process. And it was something that I found just really resonated with the way I like to practice and things that I could utilize with my patients and feel comfortable with talking about a brand. So it's been a really fun work that we've been doing together now for a few months, and just excited to see, just so much more that's going to happen and will happen with their products, and seeing patients' lives really change.
Yeah, we're going to get into the science behind Haelan 951 and fermented soy basically in just a couple of seconds. I've known about it for years. When I was producing cancer conferences back in San Diego many years ago, we had a lot of the integrative medical doctors, naturopathic doctors, oncologists, and so forth, highly recommending and using this product for their cancer patients. And so, it's been around for quite a while, it has a strong track record. And people are seeing incredible results with it. So, that's why we are excited to share it with everybody here. Dr. Stone, let's start with the basics of what are your thoughts on soy? I know there's a lot of misconceptions, misunderstandings about soy. So-called health gurus out there today saying it's bad for you, avoid it. It's going to give you man boobs and give you estrogen because it's got phytoestrogen. It's going to increase your estrogen levels and all these kind of crazy ideas out there that aren't substantiated whatsoever in science. But what's your thoughts on it?
Definitely so. And I think this is a great topic because even through medical training, even in the naturopathic world, there was a lot of misconception even here from professors and who you're learning from based on what they learned themselves throughout the years. And a lot of this happened in just the early studies of soy. And it was based on what you just said. Soy is very rich in what are called phytoestrogens. So they are estrogens that we can consume in our bodies, and theoretically, people were nervous about this at the beginning because a lot of cancers in the body are estrogen receptor dependent. So meaning that if there are estrogens in our body from our own hormonal production or xenoestrogens that could come from some outside sources, which aren't similar to what is in soy, they could actually stimulate these cancers to further progress and cause havoc to our body. So in theory, yes, when they started looking into this, it sounded like this could be potentially bad. However, we're so far beyond that now. We know the mechanisms that are really happening within the body, and we understand that these estrogens within soy actually protect ourselves. They actually lock onto, yes, the same receptor, the estrogen receptor, but a different subunit of it. And what happens with this, it actually blocks these estrogen receptors from being stimulated by these artificial estrogens from outside sources, from like products we're using, plastics that are in our body all the time, and actually has this overall protective mechanism, which we know very well now. We probably could have understood that in the past because you could see all of these ancient civilizations that have been using soy for such a long period weren't having these problems.
Right.
But like many things, we have to have the science catch up with what's been happening for hundreds or thousands of years in order to truly say this is good or bad. So as of today, that is one of the biggest misconceptions out there, I think, that happens with soy. And another big piece with soy is just so much soy out there is genetically modified as of today. It's one of the biggest genetically modified crops in the whole world. And with that said, like anything, any type of product, if we're lacking the quality per se and changing its original natural structure, we also have a lot of issues that kind of come with that. And that's stuff we could even dive in deeper if you'd like as we go into this conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the concern, as you said, has been one of the big concerns was because the phytoestrogen, people thought it was going to increase estrogen. And in fact, as you stated very clearly, it actually helps, and the studies prove this, that it helps your body balance its estrogen and hormonal levels. And that receptor you were talking about, that's the beta receptor, right? That's the hormone B receptor that as the soy phytoestrogens bind to that, it actually helps block, as you said, basically xenoestrogens from entering in the body, which do cause hormonal imbalances. These are called endocrine disruptors that actually throw your entire endocrine system out of whack, which can lead to things like chronic inflammation. We know chronic inflammation is one of the underlying causes of cancer, right? So that's why having something like soy in your diet, especially as you said, organic soy, not genetically modified. Genetic modification, allows for these companies to spray massive amounts of pesticides and weed killers and herbicides and fungicides onto the plants, primarily pesticides, or herbicides, so that that plant can grow without lots of other, wild edibles growing around it. And in doing that, you are then consuming all of those toxic chemicals in your diet. So, there's not a significant amount of evidence that I found that the genetic modification is what causes the problem, even though there were some rat studies a number of years back that when these rats ate, genetically modified, I think it was genetically modified soy, or it might have been corn, that they grew massive tumors. But it's hard to differentiate. Was that from the genetic modification, or was that from the massive amount of herbicides or pesticides that was sprayed on that, We do know that many pesticides, herbicides, fungicides are actually classified level one, class one carcinogens, meaning we know they cause cancer, or they're class two, they're probable or likely carcinogens. So just going organic solves that problem, right? Going organic and getting away from any of that is a really simple solution. But staying on the soy conversation specifically, the phytoestrogens actually help to balance hormonal balances within the body, uh, and I've seen quite a few studies that people who eat more soy more often actually have less hormonal related cancers like breast cancer and prostate cancer. Is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, seeing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, so that's obviously, and then as you said, there are many civilizations who've been eating soy for most likely thousands of years, and most of those civilizations are people who live longer and healthier than most people in like the United States who are eating a very sad diet. So soy, there's so many studies that show that soy actually is associated with lower cancer risk, higher immune response. And then let's talk about fermented soy. What are your thoughts on fermented soy, Dr. Stone? Or Jim, if you want to speak on this. I know you're pretty well versed in the science as well, but why don't we go Dr. Stone and then Jim, if you want to share anything.
Of course, yeah. For myself, I mean, it just takes it to a whole new level when we do anything fermented. I mean, one, it's going to break down some of the constituents within soy that might not typically be processed in the body as much, like phytic acid, which is also kind of a controversial topic if it's good or bad in terms of treatment options. Also, we're just getting the benefit of all the enriched probiotics. I mean, this is something that everyone as of today is hearing more and more of over the last 10 years. Gut health and probiotic use, prebiotic use has been studied, and most people are very, very aware of what's going on here. And we're truly understanding how all these microbes are working synergistically with our bodies, helping decrease inflammation, helping increase neurotransmitters in the body, helping improve our immune system. These beneficial microbes are just something that we truly need to live alongside with. And by restoring that to our gut, by having a fermented soy product, it allows us access to this at a truly nutritional and food-based product to be delivered to ourselves. So for me, it's just something you're just getting so much more benefit by taking something that is fermented this way.
Yeah, I agree. We see, specifically I'll talk more specifically about our product. With soy, a lot of benefits, and then with fermented soy, some amazing, great benefits. And then we kind of take that to a whole new level with our fermentation. It's quite unique. We do a multi-stage nitrogen fermentation, and we're really looking to, maximize some of those compounds like genistin and those isoflavones that we talked about, those phytoestrogens, maximize their ability to positively affect the body. And we do that through their bioavailability and that breakdown and kind of fermentation. Think of it like a kind of a digestion, a pre-digestion. So it's just easier when it gets to your body just makes it easier to absorb it, and it gets to work a lot faster, a lot more effectively. And then also to kind of concentrate it down into its best parts. So with the 951, we're really taking a superior crop and putting it through a really, really intense fermentation process so that your body can use the most beneficial parts of that plant and get the most out of it. So fermentation is really just an incredible way across all, a lot of food groups. You think cultures have used it for convenience, to preserve food for thousands of years, maybe not even knowing the full benefit of what they were getting out of it. But now that we understand those microbes and those probiotics and those different, beneficial bacteria and enzymes and things that are created during that process, it's pretty amazing when you really kind of dial in that fermentation process. You can produce something pretty special.
Now, I don't always quote the Mayo Clinic for various reasons I won't get into, but one of their more recent quotes about soy, actually, I thought is quite relevant. As they said, it was once thought that soy foods increase the risk of breast cancer. However, eating a moderate amount of soy foods does not increase risk of breast cancer or other types of cancer for that matter. A moderate amount is 1 to 2 servings a day of whole soy foods such as tofu, soy milk, and edamame. I mean, that's a Mayo Clinic right there, right? I mean, we're really making some big progress here because I mean, for decades, it's been, misconcepted about soy. It's been, people just said it's this evil thing. And that I could only find one study when I was researching this a while back that actually showed soy had negative health effects and might increase cancer risk. And it was a slight increase of, I believe it was cancer risk, or it was some health, negative health effects. And when I looked into, okay, what did they actually use? Did they use, bean? Did they use the edamame? Did they use the actual beans? Did they use tofu? Did they use soy milk? What did they use? They used soy isolate protein, isolate soy protein. And just the process, from what I understand, of creating isolate soy protein is a very toxic process, right? Where it leaves behind aluminum and other kinds of toxins in that final kind of protein powder. So it's important that when people say, oh yeah, but this study or this doctor, this scientist said it's bad for you because there's this article or whatever, look at what was actually used in that, right? We're talking about the whole food here that is grown organically, that is then, turned into, I know Haelan 951 is a liquid, right? So you do the nitrogen extraction process, the fermentation process, and then it's just turned into a drink that you can drink. It's like a smooth kind of thick, viscous, kind of almost like a smoothie, if you will. And, that's the whole bean that you guys are using, which is why I love it. If it was like a soy isolate protein, I'd be very wary of it and probably not recommending it. So that's where some of this information comes from. It's not people who are necessarily lying about it. There were some studies, but those studies were based on something that actually created a toxic end product anyway. So what we're talking about here is the whole food.
We don't want to mislead people, Nathan. When you say the word smoothie, people might think that it tastes okay. The taste is pretty unique. That will say that.
The taste is very strong. Absolutely. It's very strong taste. What I do is I get your guys' mint powder. What's that called?
The sweet mint flavoring powder. Yeah.
Sweet mint flavoring. It's just like super simple, clean, super clean ingredients. Mix that in with it, with a little bit of water in there, and it tastes fine. If you drink it by itself, it's a very strong flavor for sure. And it's strong because the fermentation process, right?
Because it's strong. Yeah, it's strong because it's strong. That's for sure.
So, I highly recommend Haelan 951 for our community. Because we've partnered with you guys, we are able to give everybody a discount who's watching this. So there's a link below for anyone who's watching who wants to try it. Click the link, go check it out, try it for yourself. But Dr. Stone, I want to ask you, what are some of the cancers that you have been using this with? Like, how do you integrate this into your clinic? I know this is not a treatment for cancer. I know this is not a cancer protocol specifically. We can't say this is going to cure your cancer. We're not saying any of those things. We're saying, look, this is a pretty well studied, documented whole food ingredient product. And people have been seeing great results with cancer. And so you have integrated it into your clinic with your cancer patients, Dr. Stone, right? So what are you seeing, and how are you using it with your patients?
Yeah, definitely so. So for me, this is something that's part of a treatment plan for someone. Yes, there are cases where this could potentially have helped someone stand alone. For me, this is something that I integrate with their whole care. So some of my patients might be going down the conventional route at the same time, so doing radiation, chemotherapy type of agents. And this is something I could utilize along with that course. One, to help reduce some of the side effects that might be happening, such as peripheral neuropathy. We're getting a lot of the B vitamins back into the body through this product. Also with some of the wasting that could happen or cachexia due to the cancers. So it's a very good complete protein. So that way they are getting the nutrients there. Then just to all the mechanisms that we know that can support their journey that they're going through as well. We know it helps with apoptosis or killing of the cancer cells within the body. We know it helps decrease inflammation, and all disease almost is some sort of inflammation going on in the body. We know that it could help support the immune system, helping with what are called natural killer cell production, which are the little guys that go around our body seeking out cancer cells to fight them and kill them. So there are a lot of benefits. We don't know or can't say that it is going to be the one therapy that's going to be the end all solution there, but we do know very well that this is going to support our bodies as we go along any type of course here. So for me, I would utilize it with pretty much any person that would be going through some type of oncology program at this time, especially the ones that we know are estrogen receptor dependent. So the breast cancers, the uterine cancers, where we know if we are stimulating or actually more so blocking these estrogen receptors due to what we talked about earlier, we could actually help this patient respond better to treatment as well and not have as much estrogen promoting their cancers. So it works very well alongside, and some of the standard medications out there for these type of treatments work in a similar manner. Tamoxifen is one of the biggest ones out there that helps block the estrogen receptors as well, and this is a plant kingdom based solution that works in a very similar mechanism. So for me, pretty much any type of oncology patient, I would love to work with this with and do recommend it to them. So
a lot safer without side effects.
definitely.
Are there any known side effects, Jim, that you're aware of?
So you not necessarily, I wouldn't say side effects, but I mean, you're gonna, in the initial onset, a lot of people, maybe not your audience because they are used to a little bit cleaner eating, but a lot of people may experience some detox. So you might, in the initial stages, kind of feel that detox of, light headache, flu type, those light flu type symptoms, maybe some diarrhea. It usually passes within a day or so, but it's just as your body starts to flush and, the Haelan's kind of getting to work and doing things as you get into the greater amounts. For those who are, taking it, in a preventative fashion or a daily health fashion, they might just be doing like an ounce a day. They're probably not going to go through that. But for folks who are taking a higher amount, upwards of a bottle a day, maybe 4 ounces in the morning, 4 ounces at night, as you kind of build up to that process kind of around day 2 or 3 would probably be noticeable for some people, maybe not everybody. And then beyond that, we have no known side effects. And then even, and we still recommend you talk to your healthcare provider if you do have a true soy allergy. But even people with a true soy allergy do not typically react. We've not had a reaction in over 30 years. And that's just because of our fermentation process in a way that protein and that antigen is broken down during that fermentation process. So something to consider is we still always recommend start with caution, but from an allergen standpoint, we obviously listed on the bottle, but we've not had a typical allergic reaction.
Yeah, well, we'll put, if you're on my website at nathancrane.com watching this, we'll put links below to a few of the studies that I think are really relevant for people to take a look at who want to look at some of the studies on this. I think they're fascinating. Again, there's a link below this video somewhere in the description. They'll take you to a page with more details about it with a discount and all of that as well. So if you want to try it for yourself, you can go there and take a look and try it for yourself. I've been using it primarily just for health enhancement, for performance as an athlete, for immune system enhancement, and for prevention. I mean, my goal is to live as long and healthy and vital as I possibly can. And I know a lot of our community is as well, at all ages. And so, just preventing health conditions and, a chronic disease diagnosis, I think having this as a, something you add to your toolkit, right? Dr. Stone, you said you're involved in integrative medicine, right? I don't believe there is one cure all that will fix any disease ever. I just don't think it exists, because we are mind, body, emotion, spirit, environment, relationships. And so you take one pill or one food or one thing, you think that's going to solve all your problems. I think you got to, think again. That's why integrative medicine, using the best of all worlds, right? Both holistic and natural, as well as conventional and functional, and looking at all areas of our life. And I think this is one area, a nutritionally dense area, that we can improve upon by adding this into our regimens. I want to finish with one thought, because you brought this up, Dr. Stone, which I think was great, but we just kind of passed over. It was, you said it's a complete protein. Well, soy is it has all 9 essential amino acids that the body needs, right? And people think of protein, they're usually thinking of, what is my protein in regards to like muscle development, for example? Am I getting enough as a macronutrient? Am I getting enough of protein? What they don't realize is that through the essential amino acids, combined with the non-essential that our body makes internally and the essential that we have to get from food, those combined amino acids, was it like 26, 27? Depends which science you look at. There, it changes. But those all your amino acids literally make up thousands of different kinds of proteins that your body needs to regenerate itself, to produce, tissues and new eye cells and liver cells and kidney cells. And, it's not just protein for your muscles. And so when you talk about soy as a complete protein, that's where it has all essential amino acids your body needs to then produce these thousands and thousands of other proteins that actually helps your body regenerate itself and heal and thrive. Another reason I love soy, another reason I love this product. Yeah, I think it's a great thing for people to use and check out for yourselves. Again, there's a link below. Any closing thoughts, Jim, Dr. Stone, you guys would like to finish with?
I just liked what you kind of mentioned. This healing journey for everyone is a holistic way of going. It's the mind, body, and spirit. So I think that's something everyone should address. This is a great product to add into helping support the body, but we do need to look at all aspects, and that's something I love doing. So I just love that you touched on that. And this is something that could definitely be utilized in a portion of that care for someone seeking some alternative ways of helping support their body.
Thank you. If people want to find you personally in your clinic in San Diego, what's the best website for them to go to?
Definitely. Our clinic is wearetulsi.com.
And that's TULSI, like the T. We are Tulsi.
Correct.
Cool. Thank you so much, Dr. Stone. Jim, any kind of closing remarks?
And I'm just really appreciate you having us on here, Nathan. You've been such a great support, and love working with you guys and your team over there. If I do encourage people to go back and check out that other video. I know we talked a few more about the specific studies and my journey. I'd love to, if you have questions or are interested in the product, I really encourage people to call. Let us know that, you heard about us through Nathan Crane, but give us a call and we'd love to chat with you. We are very phone friendly company. So you're probably going to get somebody live or you're going to get a call back.
That's rare nowadays. So I'm glad you said.
Very rare. Yeah, very rare. So we'd love to chat. Like I said, and we mentioned earlier, we've been around 30 plus years. So we've got a lot of experience in the office with the product itself. So there's really not too many situations that we haven't seen and might at least have some kind of suggestion for.
That's awesome. Well, thanks so much, Jim. Thanks so much, Dr. Stone. I appreciate you guys coming on and sharing this with our community, and everybody tuning in. Click the link, go check it out, try it for yourself, look at the studies, do your own research, as always. But like I said, it's something I use, I highly recommend, and I think it can help you as well. So I wish you so much health and happiness. We will talk to you soon. Take care.